So I'm not sure how many of you were here like a month ago when Dietrich and Marcus were featuring. I loved their just brave vulnerability. It was excellent, and I'm gonna pretend like they've just finished speaking, and I actually put this set together the night I got home or the morning after or something. I was like, right, let's do a thing with some vulnerable stuff in it. So Dietrich was actually my on-ramp to writing poetry, not just rhyming Father's Day poems for my dad. We were in a marriage group together, and he was hearing me talk about some stuff. He was like, Lee, I think you need to write about this. And I was like, oh, okay. So I gave it a try, and so yay, Dietrich. So we are going to cycle through. Claudia commented on all the feels last time, so we are going to cycle through a variety of feels tonight. We're going to cover dangerous crushes, PTSD and postnatal depression, chronic illness and periods. So find your own story in this, grieve or blush away in this conveniently dark theatre. We're going to start heavy, but I will be returning the cabin pressure to normal by the end of the set. So this first one is called Just My Head. There are bullets and rattles, bombs and a tabletop bang. Fire licks the curtains with every cry, and the hallway is engulfed where you howl. I want to witness as my chest wall caves in, a tender-souled tether while a personalised quake swipes my feet. I want to adore like a sunset, tend like a weaver, dote like a willow, fuss like a shop display pro, not trip over my own arches or rib cage and forehead and damp. But there's nothing to see. I'm being a baby. No guns, flames, abrasions, just my head and my wet-eyed child. Okay, if you need a deep breath at this point, I encourage you to claim one and breathe out. This next one is called Kid Weather, and I just want to acknowledge my parents who are here up the back and others who have supported me through this postnatal journey. Can you still call it postnatal when they're 10 and 12? Yeah, who knows. Anyway, so yes, Kid Weather. I wanted to make it today, but my child was hailing. Pelting overstimulation, the brain bruises still ache. Wish I'd come, there was a storm, noise, flails, things thrown, me thrown out of emotional joint, wet blanket tears to mend now. I missed your thing because I didn't want to miss the sunshine. First clear day in weeks, his boneless cirrus skin against my cheek. I'm late, draped on the chair, spaced out because of this kid weather, but grateful to be counted in the invite, the vote of faith that this is kid weather, that I exist separately from the rain, blunderstorm, torrential frown pour, that we will wait out, that will clear. So moving now to adult relationships. This one is about a specific chronic illness, and my goal not here is not sympathy, but to voice the struggles of living alongside invisible injuries, disabilities, that kind of thing. So it's called Chronic Fatigue is a Sloppy Thief. And I'm honoured to have had it included in a fine line, which is due out any day now, I think. Chronic fatigue, you lazy fizzle, this dawdling dying of sparkle, strewn about with unschedulable stints of standard brightness, is getting tired, you slacker of an illness. I want sympathy. Behold, heroic wife, a former champion. See his wheelchair, his scars. Poor him, poor you. But he looks fine. I married a man who shone. You stole him from under my lips, under my finely reclined, glowing soul. His sculpted cheekbone smile now as rare as a good night's sleep. Fireplace newsprint that burns so perfectly, you can still touch it. You can still read it if you don't touch it. Do I puff away the ash, a dandelion's foggy head? If I cannot wish, I'll blow it up, explode the hope and mope with wet grass socks that rub where no one can tell. Sunny yellow turn to fluff and nonsense. Keep your squished wish, I'm getting the lawnmower. Chronic fatigue, you mess with maths. Divide focus exponentially, subtracting our capacity in square minutes. What I can count on, my extra page, is things being less than, not equal to my requirements. Cerebral pickpocket, always running me and him at a loss. We rattle round translucently, coordinating who's out which evening, restocking of matches, torch batteries, firewood, where to get glow-in-the-dark PJs for the next kid's birthday, while our overcast souls blood out the months, the decades. Remembering sometimes how we used to glint, fascinated by facets of each other under canopy or candlelight. I miss him and he is still here. So I tell him again where the light bulbs live, whether that gets line dried, that I can't eat black beans, about the kids' disco this weekend, another nap, pill episode, glazed look, one-way smile, coital coughing fit, breathless intermission, daylight, date night robbery. And I don't tell him again about the shiniest part of today, of my teens, or the month we had married before you snuck in with your crowbar, about my daydreams for our children, or how at 13 I wanted to be a scuba diver. Now I live underwater, trying not to stargaze the surface. Perhaps my gills are coming along, but I miss the sun. Thank you. Now for a totally unrelated topic, this one is called How to Crush a Crush. Avoid. Diligently axe all chances to learn more about this dazzling person. Be dull, tell yourself they are dull. If avoidance is not an option, put on your grown-up pants and think not a second about taking them off. Fail, the fact that they are not boring and that you feel soaringly not boring around them is part of why you're hooked. Distract. Ram your concentration onto recipes for pastry, reciting pi to 14 decimal places, Germanic and Indo-Iranian language trees. Fail. Now when you think of ice, water, flour and shortening, 3.141592653588979 or Proto-Indo-European, you think of them. Start a poem on how to crush a crush. Celebrate small wins. Thinking of them every 10 minutes instead of every 2 is progress. One platonic thought instead of the throbbing, longing norm is progress. Data crunch. Marinate in why it would be bad to lose your marriage, your singleness, child custody setup, religion, job, friend circle, pets of rank, spreadsheets are your thing, channel this from your very loins. Notice you're noticing. What has its gravitational mitts on your heart is not so much a person as what you believe they will bring. How else can you quench that? Take 5 catch-ups with someone who already loves you. 4 fan mail letters, write them yourself. Do not sign them on behalf of your crush. 3 novels, 2 trials of local clubs, 1 pet you can borrow someone else's. Fail, realizing what you believe they would bring made it worse. You are missing it. Meanwhile, you are crushed by trying to crush a crush while pretending it's nothing. Celebrate small wins. You got through a family dinner without picturing them smiling at you. Play foul. When they pop up, focus on that odd thing they do with their hair, their crazy views on what constitutes a good apple. Supervise yourself like you would a toddler enamored with a button battery. Sweetheart, I know that looks exciting, but if you put it in your mouth, chaperone your starry eyes around the boundaries. Realise you haven't tinkered with your poem in a while. The daily combat has dissolved like the morning you now lock that tricky front door mindlessly. Gasp, weep, rejoice, thank the friends who lent you pets and pastry recipes, who bundled you off to cafes and chess clubs, and who pointed out what a red flag your crush's favourite shoes really were. Thank you. To finish off, this is a piece that started off at Pomeroy's with an I will if you will challenge with Jessica Arcus. Took 10 to 15 hours to write and has been received with unexpected enthusiasm. Hello layers, moontime divas, cones of coral, latex keepers, cup holders of one description, tired of monthly trash subscriptions. Landfilled single-usage sponge had cost enough. You took the plunge, ditched porous plugs and taped bath mats for cute cervical party hats. Menstrual cups. There, look, I named it. Suppose I should be unashamed. It's hard though with our history of strict I don't existery. No more empty pad bag shops or far too rattly clip-top box, plus a welcome lack of stashing, buying, tracking, dairy dashing. Scarlet seasons full of chores like sanguine peach time. Could we pause the downpour in my badgersphere? I suppose not, least I've got the gear. Wish I'd tried it years ago, say most folks, which is great, although I'm irked at the chronology of this slow one technology. We might have sooner progressed to, had wider, freer access to this sweet subuterine spittoon, if more tech bosses leaked maroon. Rolled rosette or folded V, do we all ditch the stem, just me? No horror tales of togs and strings or surfboard pads with wandering wings. Cheaper, greener, free refills, and I can track this thing in mils, but wait, now thudding back to earth, my doctor just knows tampons worth. Though quite anticipatable, mishaps are inescapable. The time you drop it, all locations lead to complex situations. Some require the op-shot pot that in a time of need is got from far down in the back, well hid, the one with non-transparent lid. Clock set, you nonchalantly lurk, but still however hard you work to make it unimportant looking, someone always asks what's cooking. However keen your soapy sink, that cut transparent purple, pink, whatever starting shade you have, it all ends up as smoked cab salve. And though they are a bit complex and come with mud flat sound effects, there's videos to tutor us in teacup hugs for uterus. 3 cheers for humble silicone, our bendy hero on the throne. Menstruation without megabucks, we're bloody glad of menstrual cups.